appears the desperation is real. On Wednesday, a contingent of House Republicans stormed a secure room in the Capitol basement on Wednesday, disrupting a deposition and violating House rules by bringing phones and other electronic equipment into a secure area. So now, why would they do that? Well, it's a way to defend Donald Trump. So now this was led by Representative Matt Gaetz. And there was about 30 lawmakers, maybe 47, that ended up being in the Intelligence Committee's secure area. Again, this is the House Intelligence Committee where they were basically conducting interviews and into, of course, Donald Trump's dealings with Ukraine. And basically talking about the impeachment inquiry into President Trump trying to pressure the Ukrainian leader, Volodymyr Zelensky, into digging up dirt against his political opponents, which is obviously wrong. So now these Republicans who are not members of the committee, and there are Republican members of the committee, by the way, again, they brought phones and other electronics into the Sensitive Compartmented Information Facility, or the SCIF. All right. So this happened just about the time as the Intelligence Committee was set to interview Laura Cooper. Now, Laura Cooper is a Pentagon employee who oversaw Ukrainian issues, so apparently they wanted to talk to her. Cooper was in the room when Republicans decided to barge to the door, and so the committee staff had to move her to another area. The whole thing got shut down, and the whole thing was essentially delayed for the whole entire day. Wonderful. Okay, so now obviously this is something that you're not supposed to be able to do, might even be a crime. So now why did they do that? Oh, as I mentioned, defend Donald Trump, but how specifically? Well, the Republicans are now claiming that these meetings are too secret, not enough transparency. And so it's saying that, or they're saying that it's basically the entire thing has been really, really unfair to Donald Trump. But here's the problem, right? Who knows if any of the deposition would actually get back or to Donald Trump if you allow other people who are not part of the committee to go and sit in on the committee or to make it public. Again, you don't want any potential actors knowing or involving the questions or knowing the questions or to be able to come up with a coordinated defense. And so that's a problem, right? And at the moment, right now, they can and should conduct private meetings. And when the time is right, they will make the testimony public. And so, and that's the issue, right? Republicans at this point, led by Matt Gaetz and, of course, Donald Trump, want to know ahead of time what's going on. They don't have a right to know. So, again, why storm the room? Well, again, it shows it is something that Donald Trump wanted to happen. And it basically, for these lawmakers, shows their loyalty to Donald Trump, which, of course, he values over basically everything else. And so why do I say it's a stunt? Because we've learned that Republicans who storm a room already had legitimate access to the depositions. So it's just a show. And of course it worked. White House Press Secretary Stephanie Grisham said that President Trump was very happy with House Republicans. She said, quote, "He was very supportive of it, as he should be." Yeah, of course. So now the reason, again, Donald Trump and Republicans are so worried about this, because on Tuesday, there's a lot of damning testimony from Ambassador William Taylor. So remember, Taylor testified that Trump did try to solicit a quid pro quo from Volodymyr Zelensky. Taylor documented that a White House meeting between Zelensky and Trump was connected to Zelensky opening an investigation into Burisma, that's the Ukrainian energy company, where Hunter Biden was paid $50,000 a month to sit on the board of. Now, look, we all know the reason that he was paid $50,000 a month. It's institutional corruption. Of course it is. Now, is it illegal corruption? Unfortunately not. And so their efforts to dig up, any sort of criminal wrongdoing on the part of Joe Biden is unfounded. Even if there, like I said, there is a problem with the institutional corruption, the fact that he was put on this board and paid large sums of money because he was a Biden. that is in itself problematic as well. And so, look, I would love to tighten some rules on that and to prevent that kind of situation from happening again. Because, again, that is a conflict of interest. Nonetheless, right? Basically, pressuring and using foreign military aid to pressure a foreign leader into opening an investigation that is a political investigation that will help your political reelection chances, that is also wrong. And of course, so is quid pro quo, right? So now, here's the thing. The texts that were released, and they were released by Kurt Volker, by the way. And this was between Gordon Sondland, Kurt Volker, and William Taylor. Taylor, in those conversations, had said, quote, "As I said on the phone, I think it's crazy to withhold security assistance for help with the political campaign." To which Sondland had replied about 5 hours later, using a Trump talking point. "Oh, no, I didn't say quid pro quo. Please call me and let's get off text." Now, that talking point was, of course, directed by the White House after consultation. Now, during his testimony, Taylor had also said, quote, "In fact, Ambassador Sondland said everything was dependent on such an announcement, including security assistance." And he added that Trump wanted Zelensky in a public box by making a statement about ordering the investigation. So that is devastating to a president that says no quid pro quo. In fact, their argument has been completely and utterly shattered by this. And besides, you don't need quid pro quo to even impeach. And so, look, the fact is that the president used his office to pressure a foreign country into digging up dirt on his political opponent. That is simply wrong on its own. Now, you add in quid pro quo and add in abusing the office of the president, and you are left with one conclusion. You have to impeach him. It's as simple as that. And these Republicans, they know this. Matt Gaetz, Steve Scalise, and all the other pro-Trump defenders, they know this, but they want to distract you. They want to say, oh, it's such an unfair process. When we know, of course, the Republicans would not be at all transparent if the situation were reversed. In fact, it's just another play. It's another act to defend a sitting president who just happens to be a criminal. Hey guys, hopefully you enjoyed that free video. Now I'm going to have to ask you a favor. Between the demonetization and the YouTube algorithm messing around with view counts, etc., we're having a hard time adjusting to the new YouTube reality, which is where you guys come in. See, we have a patreon.com/TYTNation set up to help us rely on you guys, the viewers, instead of big corporate ads. Look, you know the show. You know I'm not in favor of big corporations anyway. So help us transition away from relying on the ad model to pay the bills and sign up to be a patron, patreon.com/TYTNation. That goes a long way to help us keep the lights on. And you guys will know that you're supporting independent progressive media.